Where is Mr. Socko? Stop it.
Yes! Yes!
We got to get right to this. We are so excited for this. You're talking to two guys that love the WWE and everything.
We both were at WrestleMania 3 at the Silverdome. We both were there.
WrestleMania 3, WrestleMania 23. I mean, just kind of shows you
32 for me at Dallas.
I'm telling you, we just love the business and everything a part of it, and we appreciate just everything that these guys put into this career. And there is no one greater, in my opinion, than Mick Foley. And he joins us now live here on Woodward Sports from Astronomicon. He will be there all weekend. The great Mick Foley. Sir, thanks so much for the time.
Hey, can I make a quick correction for you guys?
Yes.
46 on the Bears was Doug Plank.
Plank! Damn it.
See, you got it wrong, man.
Hey. I took it off the top of my head, but thank you, Mick.
Look at the Indiana guy. No,
son of a gun.
There you go, Mick. I can't tell you how excited we are, man. Myself and Ryan, we are we started off as WWF junkies, and now we are WWE junkies. It is a pleasure to have you on. I actually had Mark Henry on my live last year on Saturday at WrestleMania. Man, you are a legend, and we are so excited to have you.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to coming in. You mentioned WrestleMania in Dallas. That was where I made the surprise appearance with Austin and
Shawn Michaels. Yeah,
and that was such a cool moment because I came out. I got the nice response, a big pop, as we say. But it wasn't until Steve came out where I know, okay, not an eyeball in the place going to be looking at me. So I just took like a full minute to just look around that massive stadium because I'd never wrestled in front of a crowd that size before, and I'll likely never be in front of a crowd that size again. And I just really took it in, enjoyed it, and it was a pretty monumental moment. And I had 3 of my children there, so it was pretty epic for me.
I was there. I was there,
and I know being in a stadium like that, Braylon, too. I mean, my goodness, I remember WrestleMania 3, one of the most incredible athletic experiences of my life. Mick, I want to ask you, when you get to Astronomicon, and people come up to you, what's the one thing most people will talk about? What do they mention to you, and how appreciative are they for your career and everything that you dedicated? You dedicated your life to entertaining people.
Yeah, man, they are very appreciative. I do still get asked about the cell match quite a bit, but probably about 7, 8, 9 years ago, I did an about face. And I stopped regretting that I was only known for that one thing. I'm probably known for 2 or 3 things. The victory over The Rock.
Stop being so humble. Stop being so humble.
But you know what I noticed at these Comic-Cons is that about 50% of the people who come up to see me are families with children who weren't even alive when I was doing that stuff. And they've chosen to pass these matches and these characters on. So you see little kids, 6, 7 years old, dressed up as Dude Love or coming with Mankind masks. And I love it. I think I have more fun at these cons than just about anybody.
Yeah, Mick, I think you're very humble. Like, I don't think you realize like how amazing, like because I'm a Bret Hart guy, but I'm a longtime wrestling guy. But the 2 best character personas in my mind are the Undertaker and Mick Foley and Dude Love and Cactus Jack. Like, you are the personification of what a character is. Let me ask you this question, though. In your early careers, like early in the 90s, man, from 91 to 96, when you really were getting Cactus Jack involved, like ECW or the hardcore matches, talk to me about how much of an influence Terry Funk was. Because Terry Funk and you guys have great chemistry, and I feel like he's like a big brother to you. There we go. Look at it. Look at it. And this is a great question. Terry Funk, like, and you, talk to me about kind of like what he meant to you in your early years in ECW.
Yeah, he meant a lot, even going back before that, even going back to 1990 when I had a chance to get to know him, my first run with WCW. He really impressed upon me that I had all these great, bumps, as we call them, and they were exciting. But if I couldn't find a way to be more aggressive to become a better heel. At that time, the idea of me being a good guy or babyface didn't seem to be in the cards because of the hand that Mother Nature had dealt me. But he made it clear that the bumps were fantastic, but unless I could find a way to make that character meaningful, they weren't going to get the reactions they should. And so I really took that lesson to heart, really worked on my aggressiveness, because that was not a natural trait for me. And without Terry's guidance, I don't think I would have done nearly as well. And then, of course, when I got to ECW and we started wrestling kind of consecutively in Japan and ECW, the effect he had on me was phenomenal. But as my wife said to me one time when I came limping back and burned and scarred from one of these Japanese tours, she was like, maybe you could have found a different mentor.
Yeah, perhaps, but maybe the script wouldn't have been. You never know how it's going to turn out. Mick, I wanted to ask you. We mentioned these characters. Whether it's Mankind or Dude Love or Cactus Jack or even playing yourself, Mick Foley.
Yeah.
I mean, guys in the business, they try different characters and they're waiting for one character to hit. You had 4 that hit. How were you able to do that? And have we ever seen anything like that in the business? So one person to have 4 characters.
Royal Rumble, 98.
Yeah.
He came out 4 times.
I mean, essentially just hit.
3 times. I apologize.
I mean, there have been guys who portrayed different characters, but usually at different points in their career. And it just worked out that I came in, I had been Cactus Jack for almost 12 years, but when I came to WWF, Mr. McMahon had no interest in having that guy in his ring. I think his comment was, Cactus Jack will never step foot in a WWF ring. But then, to his credit, we together created that character, Mankind, but he realized that the real-life story I had to tell was more interesting than that, fictional character. At one point, Mankind, the darker character, was fictional. And as time went on, that character started lightening up, and I put a lot more of myself into it. And, it took us about 12 hours to do that scene where all 3 characters hang out, talk, and interact with each other. And it just, and Mr. McMahon found out I wanted to be this Dude Love character, and I had been when I was 17, 18 years old, and he asked me if I wanted to bring it to life. And you know what, guys? I'm gonna bring it to life for you guys.
Let's go!
Oh my God, let's go!
There it is! There it is!
Indeed, it's
Dude!
Love,
Dude! This guy's amazing, man.
Signing graphs and bringing smiles on faces right there at Astronomicon. Ow, have mercy.
Unbelievable.
I am a kid in a candy store right now.
Yes.
Mick, you are the man. Mick, let me jump into something. Like, everyone, when they talk to you, or when you think about wrestling, if you close your eyes, if you're a fan, I see Hulk and I see Andre. I see Stone Cold bleeding out from Bret the Hitman Hart. I see Jimmy Snuka in Madison Square Garden off the cage. But you know what else I see? I see Taker and Mankind in Hell in a Cell. And I know everyone always asks you this. Obviously, Taker throws you off into the analyst booth, and then you go off on the gurney. But you know what? Nah, that's not how you want to end it. You come back, you climb back on top, and then Taker throws you through the cage and you hit the mat. Everyone talks about that. Tell us something that we don't know about the scripting for that, something that didn't go planned, or tell us something that we may not know about that particular match in 98 Hell in a Cell.
Well, the top of the cell was not supposed to collapse.
That's first and foremost.
First and foremost.
When I was climbing back up that cell, I'm a horrible climber, like a bottom heavy and not, just a horrible climber. There's a reason why every subsequent cell matches had footholds for people to, put their feet in, hands if they want to climb. So it was a slow journey up to the top, but at least it was accompanied by a feeling of relief that at least the worst part of my night was over. And then it actually got worse from there. The choke slam. I thought it was going to take maybe 3 or 4 choke slams for that cage to start giving way. which is what I was looking for, like the cage to start ripping so Undertaker could kind of shove me down, a rabbit hole of sorts. And instead it just gave way, and boom, next thing I know, I'm wondering why Terry Funk's shoes are in the ring. Like 42 seconds had gone by. And so I always say, I know you guys are a sports show, and I think, sports fans pretty readily accept
I'm a wrestling fan.
Thank you. But it's like, people put us down. You're like, hey, man, does your sport continue when one of the participants is no longer conscious? Because mine did. It doesn't now. We've learned a lot about concussions. And if something similar happened, they'd stop that match. But we really benefited in the long term by the fact that we found a way to continue that match when one of the guys was no longer conscious.
Talking to Mick Foley in town for Astronomicon this weekend in Ann Arbor at the Sheraton Ann Arbor. You can get tickets. It's a great list of guests that there at Astronomicon. I want to go to the chat here. Tammy wants to know, Mick, where is Mr. Socko? Stop it.
Yes! Yes! Tammy, great. Yes!
Yes!
I'm living. This
That
is
is
amazing.
fantastic.
But it's Mr. Socko.
Oh, excuse us.
Hey, could I give you guys this is kind of an exclusive that I came upon last week. I'd been, bringing these characters back to life from my cameo videos, and so I'm on the road and I've got the Mankind mask, I've got the Dude Love, the headband, the wig, and I was like, why not just bring him to the con? So I was in Pittsburgh last week. And I have to tell you, when fans saw that I was breaking out the Mankind mask and the Dude Love glasses, they were like, you could see them, how excited they were. Like, I'll go on record and say they were elated. So, I really enjoy being at these conventions, and this is like a new toy I have. So if people come over and they do the, and they pay for the photo op and the autograph, they get at least one of the face of Foley, if not Dude and Mankind, in addition to me. As a matter of fact, we'll make it a show special. You get Foley, Mankind, and Dude at the Foley table.
I love it. That is incredible.
That is
Jesus
awesome, man.
Christ, yo! You know what's crazy? And Maz actually has a really good question. You're the Astronomicon.
Yeah,
is that
you
it?
said it right.
There we go, man. So we're 3 for 3 right now.
Yes, we are.
It's at the Sheraton in Ann Arbor. I played at the University of Michigan, and guess where two-a-days training camp hotel was?
Sheraton
It
Ann
was at
Arbor,
the Sheraton.
baby.
So I may sneak up there tomorrow, man, and see if I can get some autographs, man.
That would be great, man. I'd be happy to do it.
I appreciate that.
Hey, Mick Foley joins us, of course, the champ and the hardcore legend himself. Almost 2 million followers on Twitter, Mick. I see you're very active on social media, and I wanted to ask you about the good old days. When did the WrestleMania moments become a thing? Is this a social media thing?
I think it was a Shawn Michaels thing. I do. Shawn, coined himself, rightfully so, as Mr. WrestleMania. And I think that's when people realized, like, all right, you're a big star, but have you stolen the show at WrestleMania? Have you had that WrestleMania moment? And I had not up until 2006 when I came back out of retirement for one of many times. Came back against Edge, and we had an amazing match. And, I felt a giant weight lifted off my shoulders because I felt like I'd had that WrestleMania moment. But I credit that, or blame it, one or the other, on Shawn Michaels really setting the bar super high for WrestleMania performances.
Hey, Mick, it's funny, you took the words out of my mouth. I wanted to ask you about Dub M22 and Edge, but we can expound on that. Let me ask you this, though. You talk about people taking care of individuals. You see when Ric Flair had the match against Undertaker, and Undertaker really took care of him, and Flair felt really good. And I think another one is actually this is before WrestleMania 22, where you and Triple H had that amazing match, and I think that kind of really took you to a new stratosphere. And I think that's when Mankind really, like, that character really took off in the eyes of the people and the merchandising and etc. Talk to me about how special it is when you really have a vibe with an individual that you trust and you put so much work. Like, you hear Stone Cold talk about, I never wanted to work with anybody in those big name matches like The Rock. You talk yourself, Edge and yourself, WrestleMania 22. Like, what was the comfort level and how did it get there? And expound on that a little bit for me.
Yeah. Well, Edge had been a good friend for a long time, dating back to I think when he debuted in '98. I think it was '98, and I was always good to him on his way up. We'd always enjoyed a great friendship. To this day, I write letters to his children as Santa and make videos here. As the big guy, yeah, Santa can't be everywhere. He can't write letters to every child in the world. So I developed a really nice handwriting style specifically so I could write those letters. Anyway, we go back a long while. And you don't have to be great friends with somebody to have a great match, but you do have to trust each other. It's like I say, like Jimmy McElroy and Chaz Michael, they didn't have to love each other.
Yeah.
But without the trust, there's no way they pull off the Iron Lotus.
Wow,
You know
Blades of Glory reference. Check you out.
So just think of me as McElroy or Edge as McElroy. I'll be Chaz Michael, and we have to going through that flaming table was in a sense our Iron Lotus, and when we hit it, it was just it was Edge pinned me within a few seconds, and it was this crazy thing because I mentioned that WrestleMania moment and the giant weight off my shoulders. I was surrounded by this weird potpourri of burnt hair and charred flesh and blood, and yet it was like the most wonderful fragrance in the world because it was the smell of victory.
Talking to Mick Foley in town for Astronomicon. You can go see him, take pictures, get autographs, all that great stuff. It's happening at the Sheraton Ann Arbor this weekend. Mick, you live out there in Long Island. Are you a Jets or a Giants fan?
What do you think? I'm a masochist by being a Jets fan?
Well, I had to ask because my co-host over here had those great years for the New York Jets.
Gang.
What year were you there with the Jets?
I was there 2009 to 2011.
Two AFC championships.
So back-to-back AFC championships.
Yeah. It's mean of me to say that they will break your heart though over the years.
Yeah, they will.
Just ask Maz, Mick.
You must have known Brian Mulligan, right?
B. Mulls, of course. I know Mully.
So, Brian was really good to us. I did become a Jets fan because he was so good to us, and we would go to 1 or 2 games a year and kind of have the run of the place. And we went to practices, and my daughter Noelle, she saw one of the guys had an equipment malfunction. I can't remember the name, and he was doing an impromptu change on the sidelines where the guys were holding up towels so he couldn't be seen. But my daughter saw a peek at his butt cheek, and favorite player, and she didn't know his name. She just called him the Heine guy. So I remember talking to Vinny Testaverde, and I pulled him aside, and I was like, I was at the game like 4 days earlier, and it was like 5 degrees below zero, and I said, Vinny, I was like, weren't you freezing out there? And he's like, oh my God, it was brutal. I was like, why don't you put like a coat on? And he said, well, we can't for the image. And I just looked at him and I said, oh, football is so fake.
That is great. I'm sure they love that.
Football is fake.
I'm sure they love that.
No, it's not.
Mick, we all think we have,
wrestling.
Whatever big city you live in, you think you have the greatest sports fans in the world. We here in Detroit are biased. We think we have the greatest sports fans in the world. And we definitely think we have the greatest wrestling fans in the world. Do you have a Detroit story? When the WWE comes here to Detroit, does it feel a little different? We love the business. We love the sport.
I grew up a Detroit story. First of all, I want to say I grew up as a huge Bears fan, and that's why when you guys were talking about Peyton and that touchdown, that refrigerator guy, Walter, it really hit home with me because I did suffer through some bad years when I was a kid. The Bears would be on like once a year on national TV. I remember crying myself to sleep when they lost to the Chargers on Monday Night Football, and then they developed into a really good team at the exact same time as I started training to wrestle. And I was away almost every weekend, so I finally had the lottery of Bears games, and I couldn't see them. Although I did my best to catch every playoff game. Love Peyton, but my Detroit story is that Mr. Socko was conceived and birthed in Lansing, Michigan, and it was the next night at the Joe Louis Arena where the head writer, Vince Russo, came running up to me. He's like, bro, do you have the sock? And I was like, I don't know. Why? He goes, bro, they got signs out there for him. They're chanting his name. And so I found the sock, and we revealed it. It just seemed to make sense as a guy who'd used the mandible claw as my finishing hold. That
the Von Erichs
sock, yeah. And some magic was born. But Mr. Socko made his public debut right there at the Joe.
Wow, Mick Foley, we cannot thank you enough for your time. So generous with your time, and we are so happy to have you here in Detroit, in Ann Arbor, at the Sheraton Ann Arbor this weekend for Astronomicon 4. You will be out there. Tony Schiavone will be out there. Maz is excited for Eddie Munster.
He is.
It's Edward Wolfgang Munster to you.
Right. So thanks so much. We really appreciate your time. This has been our pleasure.
Thank you, Mick.
My pleasure. Have a nice day.
You too,
See
man.
ya,
Have a
Mick.
nice day.
So cool.
Love it.
See you,
Is this
Mr.
guy the
Socko.
greatest or what?
Oh,
Mick
my
Foley.
God.
My goodness.
Amazing.
We got to take a break to regroup here. I
It's
tell
gonna be
you.
tough after that one.
Oh man, was that great or what?
He's just so humble and so easy to talk to, and he was just so free with his time and his stories, man. Like that's what you want to see when you really are enthralled with.
You know, Braylon, we could have talked to him for an hour, and one of the things that I wanted to talk to him, but I just, guy's so generous with his time, I didn't want to keep him longer. Is talk about that A&E documentary, that series of A&E documentaries that featured many of the wrestlers. Those were some of the most well-done documentaries.
Stone Cold, Bret Hart,
Booker
Mick
T.
Foley,
You
Booker
guys,
Shawn
T.
Michaels.
you guys are
Shawn
unbelievable.
Michaels.
You guys are unbelievable. You guys are like kids
feel like-
in a candy store. It was fun to watch you guys just geek out for that segment.
What?
I'm happy for you.
It was just like us watching
I got
you with
goosebumps.
Stan.
Yeah.
It was
Look
just
at
like
that. I got goosebumps.
It was just like us watching him with my dad the other
Yeah.
day. It's like it's been a great week.
I got a story about your
Hey,
dad.
I want to thank
by the
Jason
way.
Brown from Public
Yes.
City PR.
Yeah.
Helped set this
He
up.
came through for
and
us.
Mike and George over at Astronomicon.
Astronomicon.
I want to thank you
dang
all.
it, we were five.
I
we were
know. I
5 for
blew it.
5.
I had it too. Thank you, everybody, for setting that up.
One
for
of the
us.
greatest parts about this job is getting you're able to talk to these legends, these larger than life people that you grow up watching or that you grow up with, and see it. I got a story about your dad. I want to tell that out of the break, but
What
I also
did he
want
do now?
nothing. Nothing. You're gonna get a kick out of it, but also news earlier today about a possible alliance between the Big Ten, Pac-12, and ACC. I want to get to news about that. We got
Is that all to beat Alabama?
big day, and Marcus Pollard coming up at 3:00. Lots going on here. It is a Friday. Ermanni and Edwards, the bottom line on Woodward Sports Network.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate of
Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.